Tuia, uia mai rā koutou tātou I roto I tēnei pō. Kia ora everybody, big mihi to tonight as we gather tonight to share some kōrero on our next manu, which is the Miromiro, but also a bit of an intro because next week I'll have a pause from the birds and then do a bit more kōrero about puanga for a couple, 1 or 2 weeks. We'll just see how we go. Also got a different format, which I'm just going to try out. I'm not sure whether I can do it, but I'm going to give it a go. Nā reira, e mi'i kaua ana ki koutou. It's mum and dad's wedding anniversary today, 64 years. Really lucky that I got both mum and dad. Love you both heaps. And e rere ana ngā mi'i ki koutou o ngā tipikia o te aroha. I te atwatanga ki tō tātou paukai. So let's get into things. I chose the Miromiro simply because it's a bird that's connected to this period that we're in. And in particular, as I said, I'm going with a new format, so I'll talk and then start to show some different slides. And so the Miromiro is the New Zealand tomtit, and it's just a really, really little bird. And if you don't know your bird, you can confuse it for the riroriro, just its song, but it's actually a different bird, and the riroriro fades out in autumn, and then this comes in at the end of autumn. Put. And so the Miromiro is this bird here. And I had been thinking about changing to this format a while ago, but I received some beautiful taonga, which I'll talk about later on, which has encouraged me to just do this. And the two whakatauki that I'm going to share about the Miromiro, the first one is he karu Miromiro. And the karu Miromiro is recognizing a person who is very observant. And this comes from the fact that the little bird that is the Miromiro, the tomtit, it can see its kai from 10 meters away. And it's smaller than my fist, this bird. But it can see its kai 10 meters away. And so the karu Miromiro talks about somebody who is observant. In addition to that, whakatauki number 2, he manu aroha, he manu ātahu te Miromiro. And this kōrero here is actually connected back to Maui. And the Miromiro and the kōrero are the two birds associated with Maui. But also, the Miromiro was a pet bird used by our tupuna to then lure your wahine back when you had stuffed up as a man. And there are other birds that would our wahine, our kuia, would have used for their husbands to lure them back as well. But in this case, it was the Miromiro used to call back the wahine because they're quite playful, especially if they are a pet. And it's quite important to note that our tupuna had these pets that they used all of the time, and they were also used for protection. But in this case, this one was used to lure and play with when they knew that the wahine your wahine was upset with you, you'd done dumb stuff. Then if you had a Miromiro, it would be used. And they used the Miromiro because of its connection to Maui. And in one narrative, it was the Miromiro that went down. And the Miromiro went down to the underworld. Other narratives talk about the kōrero going down. Either way, it connects to the Maui narratives and those two birds. The other reason why I wanted to talk about the Miromiro just before we finish up is that the Miromiro is a bird that's the precursor to the principal bird of te tauhou. And so as we get ready to acknowledge the tauhou, and I know Rangi has done a live tonight, which will be good for you to watch to get more information about that. But I thought I'd also share a little bit of kōrero about puanga. And so puanga nui o te rangi, I'll talk about that more next week. But this is an introduction. I'm sharing this because I got all of these photos, and that beautiful, the bigger photo is from Tālali in Taupo, and the one on there, the smaller photo, is from Hemi Sungren in Nelson. And what they've done is they've taken photos of the whare. As the sun sets, puanga is something really important to look for. And as the kōrero states, ko maru aonui te whare nā puanga I whakatū ki rarotonga. And I'll talk more about that later on. But what I want you to look for is that there's this triangle right now as the sun sets, and that triangle creates a whare with takurua at the apex, at the top, coming straight down is tautoru. On one side is puanga, on the other side is maru, or more commonly known as putara. And at sunset for the next couple of weeks, start looking at that and you'll see the triangle, you'll see the whare. And just to highlight it a bit more, there's the paukai āhua, the paumua, and then the maihi coming down to the amo of puanga, and the maihi coming down to the amo of maru or putara. And so I just thought I'd encourage you to have a look at that so that we can talk about it in more detail next week. Ka te ake, stay well, and knowing that it'll be a big week next week. And yes, I'm showing my colours e te iwi, and unlike the rest of my crazy household, I'm supporting the team that I've always supported. Nā reira, e mihi kauatu ana kia koutou. Stay well, keep warm, rire hau, pai mārire.